Oh, I've been on mute this whole time. Thank you. Well, it's me,
I was
Krylios,
like, I think that's our
Connections and Mystery Friends.
cue.
Welcome. Welcome. So Mystery Friends is here. Thanks so much for being here. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Doing well, doing
Yeah.
well.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
That thank you, thank you. It is such a pleasure to have you here. So let's start this off. I want each of you to introduce yourself, give a little bit about your background, and then tell me how Mystery Friends started.
Sure. I am Abby. I'm the vocalist and front woman for Mystery Friends. And I grew up in the Midwest and have been out in the DC area for about 5 years now. My full-time job is in event management. And yeah, I'll pass it off to Dave.
I'm Dave Mole, and there's my cat Bowie behind me.
Hi, Bowie.
Full-time cat dad.
Yeah, full-time cat dad. There's two of them. The other one will probably make an appearance by sound. I am the guitar slash synth player, I suppose you could say, and I compose a lot of the music. I'm also from the Midwest, but I've been in DC now for 8 years. It's been a while, and I'm in a much less fun job of also being a tax attorney. So,
Okay, well, so both of you are from the Midwest. How did you end up in DC?
I just kind of took an internship out here and
Mhm.
ended up falling in love with the city and just kind of the community. And it was such a welcoming environment. I know not everybody has that experience coming to DC, but I was like
I mean, I
immediately in love
did,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's such a transient place that everybody's coming from somewhere. So yeah, I was felt really welcome here. And the music scene was actually really vibrant. So I didn't have a reason to get out of here. So I moved here right after undergrad. So
Awesome. What about you, Dave?
yeah, I moved here after law school actually, and it was one of those things where I don't think I necessarily knew if it was a forever spot, for me.
Mhm.
I knew I was ready to get out of St. Louis, but I don't think I realized how much I would love DC also. And I agree. I mean, everything Abby said is completely true. I'm not in the political world, so I don't feel the hard edged side of that part of DC. But
Exactly.
so I
Mhm.
think that may be why and I think a lot of people that my sense is that it's a little less transient than it used to be. A lot of people who come here like staying here, and I think we're both in that camp. And the music here has been incredible, and so it is both great to be here because I love the city and it's fun, but also the music is a huge draw. There's the other cat.
Amazing. And I love that. Let's talk about that. The music, the band formed when 2016. How did that happen? How did you guys come together? Tell me about that and bringing Mystery Friends together.
yeah, I'll let Dave kind of
Sure.
take that one because he started the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of started off on a lark. The the two other founding members that Abby kind of joined shortly after, but the two other members have actually since moved out of DC, although one has moved
Mhm.
back. But we were all friends independently of music, and I don't think we even realized any of us played instruments. One of them didn't play an instrument yet, and so we had all talked about we should, I think somebody saw a guitar in the corner, and it was one of those things we had talked about this for a while, and it just became, oh, we should try playing music sometime. And it became one of those things that you say you're going to do. It's like, I'm going to open a bar, but you never actually do it. And then we actually did it. So we decided to
Yeah.
try to play music one day. And it was definitely a slow going process, right? I mean, it was, there were, the first part of it was pretty directionless, I would say. It was mostly
Mhm.
just a way to hang out. And then over time, we were lucky enough to have Abby join us, bright-eyed and fresh-faced from Iowa, ready to do something. And I don't think we quite realized the level of talent that landed on our laps there. But Abby has this huge voice and amazingly talented musician, significantly better musician than the three of us. And so we were looked at that she was able to join us, and we started writing songs in 2016. That became kind of the when we started putting things together, and it was 2017 where we really started putting it together more seriously. So it's been really great to see how it's grown, and I think I speak for both of us. Sorry, this cat is out of control. You almost have to pinch yourself, right? 'Cause sometimes you think it's like, how did this keep going and just get better and better and better? And so it's been pretty great. I'll let Abby chime in.
Yeah, and I think it was just always a passion project. It was never like, I need to do music and I need to find musicians to make it work. It was always like, these are people that I genuinely love spending
Mhm.
time with, and we just happened to really, vibe over making music together. And then I think from there, it was just a really fun, solid foundation to kind of build upon. So it's always been just so enjoyable. So we got together because of guitars and whiskey, and then stayed together because we actually made some stuff that we like to share. So
Awesome. I like that. Tell me, what are your musical influences for the band, and what kind of themes and topics and experiences do you like to explore when it comes to music?
Yeah, Dave writes almost all of our music, so I can let him speak on that. The themes kind of have evolved over time, and lyrically, I try to explore stuff that's not so close and personal to me. I try to do all respect to Taylor Swift, she's a queen. I try to take the route of like getting kind of away from my own personal experiences and feelings, and kind of, whether it's like inventing scenarios or kind of being, like putting myself in some other person's shoes. I was obsessed with Game of Thrones for a while, so I like wrote from the perspective of like TV characters, and it was kind of fun. It felt a little bit, escapism. So I think that kind of is even more relevant now that we're all trying to kind of get away from reality. So I've been doing a lot of that in some of our more recent songs, which has just been an interesting kind of experience, and trying to get out of my own world and put myself into either a fictional one or somebody else's.
I love that. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's been funny. It has been its own kind of like journey for me too. Because back in the day, I played music in like high school, and I think the best way to describe it was probably like sort of pretentious music. I think I thought it was really cool when I was 18, and I thought I was trying to make really challenging music, and I think and I that was it's the kind of thing you do when you're a teenager, and you think you're really cool. And I think that I carried that with me. Yeah, trying to play in different time signatures and think I'm really artsy. And I think I carried some of that with me, but it's funny because years later I found it very liberating to not care about that stuff. And it's like, and in some ways it's nice to be able to, so I think I am not a classically trained musician. I've kind of gotten good at what I'm doing, but I don't have a strong sense of music theory. It's gotten a little better over time, but not really. And so a lot of times write music that I basically want to listen to or enjoy. So because I lack the ability to make music that I think will be popular, I just make music that I like, and if it's popular, then a win-win. But I think a lot of times it's been influenced by a lot of. I personally had a sort of a musical awakening, and it was a lot of the music that really drove me was stuff that has a beat, whether it's straight dance music, whether it's disco music, whether it's even post-punk music that has a danceable edge to it. That was the kind of music that I don't think I appreciated as much until kind of as a full-fledged adult. And I was like, whoa, this is what I want to listen to. And it's now been years and years. And so that's informed a lot of what I've tried to write. And it's basically been kind of a compass for a lot of things we've done ever since then. And a lot of stuff with synthesizers and that kind of like, playing with organic and inorganic instruments is the thing I like a lot too.
I see. Well, tell me, how has the pandemic affected anything when it comes to that? Thankfully, you both have day jobs, but when it came to the music and performing shows, all of that, what was that like when the pandemic hit? And how have you adapted? And what does the outlook look like for you right now when it comes to that?
In terms of like recording new music, we had kind of a blast making a lot of new songs. And I think we felt, some of them we were just sitting on for a while. So we ended up like layering a lot of cool stuff on top of it and making like a really full, just track. And then when it came time to perform it live, we're like, okay, we've got to enlist some more musicians. So that was kind of fun. I think in a way that kind of developed our sound, just kind of being isolated and, having the chance to like, let's add this guitar piece, let's add this. And we've also been collaborating with two incredibly talented musicians over the past 2 years. And I think that just in the past, since the pandemic started, we've really had a chance to kind of, as crappy as this time has been in some ways, we've been able to kind of focus on some songs that we're really excited to have released. So so that's been kind of a blessing in disguise.
That's pretty good. I've spoken with a lot of people who have said that during the pandemic, there was just a lot of creative juices, a lot of artistic spirit, and they were able to, create and produce a lot during that time. Dave?
Yeah, I think I agree with all that, and I think it's funny. I think we both experienced this in a certain way. I felt that pandemic times caused like extreme booms and busts of creativity. So I'd either be like really creative for like a month, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I have so many ideas," and then I'd 2 months go by and be like, "I don't want to do anything. I hate this. I'm tired. Music is dead." But then I'd come back. It was I think
Yeah.
in some ways that kind of like manic was weirdly good for creativity because I think those
Mhm.
bursts ended up getting like a lot of seeds planted, right? And then maybe everything doesn't pan out, but I think it's like because you didn't feel like you had to do anything. It was like, well, if I want to make music or if I feel inspired, I'll do it. We don't have any shows for I don't know a
That's so
year.
true. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it made us, and I think it made us. We revisited some songs. We made a, we did a lot more collaborations. I mean, we'd never really collaborated before for not really any intentional reasons, just didn't.
Mhm.
And it was pretty cool. We did. There was a concept album of Sergeant Pepper's where every band did a version of a song, and we made a Beatles song into an Italian disco song. We reinterpreted one of our own songs as a jazz song with some jazz musicians. It was just
Ooh.
really cool to do stuff totally different than what we'd done before, and it was a way to challenge ourselves and just kind of break out of shells. And I think it's made us both better musicians because it makes you look kind of in the mirror a little bit too.
Mhm.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. I want to talk about the album and single artwork. Who comes up with the what it's gonna look like, what the artistic direction is going to be? Is there a certain vibe or aesthetic that you try to stick to that says Mystery Friends, or is it just based on the album and what the feeling of that album or that single is giving? Talk me through that.
Yeah, we've been working with an awesome graphic designer. Her name's Julia Fletcher. And she is
Mm.
so talented that we can just send her something and be like, I don't know, we're thinking of like, 80s, but make it sassy. And she just somehow gets it. And I think the kind of whimsical, edgy, vibe that we're going for, she's nailed it every single time.
Yeah, almost pop art a little
So
bit.
she's super talented.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'd
Sorry,
give
what
her
were you gonna
tracks,
say?
and she would just it's almost like a pop art look to it, right? And we would send her
Hmm.
like here's a track. We think this, see what you feel, and there's a lot of leeway that has been fun to kind of just like see what someone else hears from music you make because it's not always going to be the same, and that's part of the fun, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This one is actually Naveed, and the Toxic cover art. Naveed's done a lot of stuff for us too, and he's just like both Naveed and Julia. It's like we just send them stuff, and they're like, "How's this?" And we're like, "That's better than I could have even put into words." It's really amazing to kind of have a various amount of artists to be working with that are just so incredibly talented. So.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So coming up, looking to what's coming up, what do you have on the horizon? What can you tell, people to look out for or to expect?
Yeah, we've got a show coming up. We had one scheduled at Union Stage for December 29th, but that's getting rescheduled. So that'll be coming in June. I'm gonna
July,
say
I think it's July.
July. Thank you. Getting my months confused. So I think that's the next one we have on the docket. We just released a limited edition EP that has 4 songs on it, our most 4 recent releases. So yes, oh, you have it right there.
Awesome.
It's so cute, honestly. I'm kind of obsessed with it.
Yes.
Yeah, just a little mini little guy. And yeah, just continuing to write. I think in theory, hopefully on the horizon would be album number 2, full length
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, I think
Awesome.
I think for this we played the show on Saturday, and it was kind of like a long time coming where we had 2 full years. No, it was almost 2.5 years. Jesus, since the last time we played a big show like that. And so it was this like big, I'd say like joyous occasion where you really felt like it was the right time. You weren't being reckless. We had something to sort of show. It wasn't just rehashing things, but also I think that was also a really great milestone. And now I think this is a great time to write a lot. And I think the idea is we would want to release more music by the summer because this is
Mhm.
kind of a time where we don't have anything we have to quote unquote plan for. So this
Mhm.
is a really good time to kind of buckle down and do some new stuff and really get it out there because I really think we're excited with the direction the music has gone and a lot of we have all these musicians who are now kind of in the like Mystery Friends universe or whatever. We have this like 10-person roster of people we can use, and it's amazing. And it's just another example of like how did this happen, but it's pretty great. And so you go from playing our first show. We played, literally, we lost money because we spent more with the sound guy than we made because we didn't know how to charge for donations. And like 4 days ago, we almost sold out Black Cat. So it's a pretty amazing journey that it's gone and in not that much time. So I think we're just excited to ride this and see what else we can do with it.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. How can people pick up your albums, follow you, learn more about you in any way?
Yeah, we're all over social media. We just started our first TikTok, even though both of us are millennials and we have no idea what we're doing. But that's been a journey in and of itself. So Mystery Friends Band, Mystery Friends Music. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Dave's been killing the Twitter game recently. And you can always connect with us on email, mysteryfriendsmusic@gmail.com. And yeah, we've got a Facebook shop with all of our merch loaded up. So
Mystery Friends Band at gmail.com.
Mystery Friends Band at gmail.com.
But we'll see if he gets that the other way too.
Yeah, we have both domains. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. How can people follow you, keep up with you, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't need to. My personal Instagram is not very interesting, so I'd say follow the band. You can ignore me. Everything Abby says is enough.
Post more cat content, and then we'll follow
if you want cat content and an occasional sourdough bread, that's about all I have to offer. Otherwise, go to Mystery Friends.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I wish you continued success, and thanks so much for being here with me today. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
It's awesome to talk with you.
Certainly. And to our viewers watching, please follow Team Racing Productions on all forms of social media, like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.